Ayo was a young man living from hand to mouth. He struggled to make ends meet. His days were filled with tedious work, and he often dreamed of a better life. One ordinary day, a letter arrived, bearing the seal of a lawyer's office. As Ayo tore it open, he had no idea that his life was about to change forever. The letter informed Ayo that he had inherited a vast fortune from a distant relative he never knew existed. Intrigued and hopeful, he traveled to the estate to claim his inheritance. The sprawling mansion and untold riches seemed like a dream come true. When Ayo arrived at the mansion, he was greeted by a fleet of well-dressed servants and a personal assistant who catered to his every need. A lavish welcome dinner is held in his honor, with a table laden with exotic dishes and fine wine. Ayo, unused to such luxury, was overwhelmed. Ayo's wardrobe was updated with tailored suits, designer clothes, and expensive accessories. He enjoys dressing up in his new attire, feeling a sense of confidence and sophistication. He attends high society events and parties, mingling with the elites. Ayo started to spend his newfound wealth extravagantly. He buys luxury cars, goes on shopping sprees, and even considered purchasing a yacht. His days were filled with indulgence, from spa treatment to gourmet dining. Ayo was throwing extravagant parties at the mansion on a regular basis, inviting celebrities, influential figures, and friends he had made because of his status. The parties are luxurious, with live band, gourmet food, and flowing champagne. Ayo is the center of attention, basking in his newfound status and wealth. Ayo indulges in various leisure activities available within the estate. He takes horse rides through the vast ground, swims in indoor heated pool, and relaxes in the luxurious home theater with the latest movie. He enjoys private tennis matches on the estate's courts. Life was really good and super comfortable for Ayo, but he soon realized that something is amiss. Ayo had overheard servants whispering about a curse that plagued every family that lived in the mansion, but he never paid attention. He was too consumed by his newfound wealth until strange accidents began to occur. One day, while Ayo was exploring the mansion's garden, a massive ancient tree suddenly toppled over without warning. The tree crushes a section of the garden wall, narrowly missing Ayo. The gardener, an old man who has lived in the estate for decades, was critically injured and later passed away from his injuries. Ayo felt a deep sense of guilt and unease, especially after learning that the tree was admired by the locals and its fall is seen as a bad omen. That night, Ayo was awoken by a smell of smoke. He rushes to the mansion's grand hall to find the portrait of Kemi, the woman who cursed his family, engulfed in flames. Ayo did not know about this woman or the curse at this point. The fire spread rapidly, causing significant damage to the hall before it was contained. Several servants were injured. The fire and the destruction of the portrait were seen as supernatural signs of the cursed power. Ayo is now haunted by the image of Kemi's burning eyes and feels an increasing sense of doom. Ayo discovers a hidden room filled with sinister statues. As he examines them, the door slams shut. He hears whispers and feels an unseen presence pushing him towards a statue of a woman in agony. He manages to escape after hours, but his experience leaves him shaken and convinced that the statues are a cursed representation of his ancestors' victim. The villagers did not like Ayo. They treated him as a stranger and an enemy. However, the very few who knew Ayo was innocent were kind to him. Ayo invited these villagers for dinner to discuss the villagers' welfare. However, they all fell violently ill. Ayo discovered that the food was poisoned. One of the villagers died, and suspicion falls on Ayo, straining his relationship with the whole community. Ayo was overwhelmed by guilt and suspicion as he was beginning to feel his life was in danger. Ayo decided to pay attention to the rumor of the curse he had heard when he first arrived in the mansion. Ayo consulted Kofi, an elderly man with a kind but wary eyes, who has served the family for decades. Ayo asked Kofi what he needed to know about the mansion and his family's wealth. Kofi replied, "Now that you've asked, I will tell you. Are you ready for the truth? Because there is something important you need to know." Kofi took a deep breath to embrace himself of what is to come. Kofi looked at Ayo and said, "The mansion, the wealth, and everything you see is under a curse. A curse that has plagued your family for generations." Ayo laughed, thinking it was a joke. A curse? Come on, Kofi. This is the 21st century. There is no such thing as curse. But Kofi's face remained serious. "I wish it was a joke, Master Ayo, but the curse is real. It began with your ancestor, Olumide, who betrayed and exploited the villagers. The curse was placed by a woman called Kemi, a powerful healer, whose family suffered greatly under Olumide's hands. Kemi cursed your family with misfortune and tragedy. Every generation has faced inexplicable accidents, death, and suffering. The curse remains until amends are made for the wrongs done to Kemi and her people," Kofi explained. Ayo stood up, pacing the room. "Why didn't anyone tell me about this before?" "Well, it is believed that ignorance might protect you, but as the new master of this estate, you must know the truth. The recent accidents are signs that the curse is still active," Kofi said. Ayo recalled the fallen tree and the fire that damaged the grand hall. "The accident? You mean the tree and the fire?" "Yes, and there is more to come if the curse is not addressed. You must seek out Kemi's descendants and find a way to lift the curse," Kofi urged. Determination filled Ayo's eyes. "I won't let my family's past sins destroy my future. Thank you, Kofi, for telling me." Kofi nodded solemnly. "Be careful, Master Ayo. The path ahead is slippery with danger, and the spirits of those wronged are restless." As Kofi left, Ayo stood alone as the weight of his inheritance pressed heavily upon him, transforming his newfound luxury into a daunting responsibility. The curse was real, and it was up to him to end it, no matter the cost. Ayo decided to explore the mansion further. He discovered hidden rooms and old journals belonging to his ancestors. The journals reveal a history of exploitation and cruelty. His forefathers amassed their wealth by enslaving local villagers and exploiting their labor. The more he reads, the more he learns about the suffering and betrayal that his family caused, leading to a vengeful curse being placed upon them. Determined to break the curse, Ayo delved deeper into the family's history. He learns about Kemi the powerful healer whose family was destroyed by his ancestors, Kemi's curse was a final act of revenge. Ayo prepared himself to embark on the journey to meet Amara, Kemi's great-granddaughter, in the hopes of finding a way to lift the curse. The dense forest path was overgrown, but Ayo pushed forward with determination. He was accompanied by a local guide who assured him they were taking the safest route. Suddenly, without warning, a hidden trap was triggered. The ground beneath them gave way, causing a landslide. Rocks and debris tumbled down, burying the path and trapping Ayo and his guide. Ayo was injured, his legs pinned painfully under a large rock. His guide, however, was not as fortunate and died instantly from the fallen rocks. Ayo struggled to free himself, but the pain was overwhelming. Hours passed, and as night began to fall, he felt despair creeping in. Just as he was about to lose hope, Ayo heard some voices. He was finally rescued by some villagers and took him to the local healer. The healer nursed Ayo's injuries, using her knowledge of traditional medicine to ease his pain and heal his wound. As Ayo recovered, he found himself opening up to the healer about his fears and determination to break a curse placed on him and his family. Ayo narrated the whole ordeal to the healer and his intention to locate a woman called Amara to help him lift the curse. The healer suddenly became angry and almost threw Ayo from her house. However, Ayo's sincerity and the physical proof of his ordeal softened the healer's heart, and she began to see Ayo not as an enemy, but as an ally in righting the wrongs of the past. To Ayo's surprise, the healer was Amara. This event marked a turning point in their relationship, bringing them closer and forging a bond of trust and mutual respect. Together, they resolved to confront the challenges ahead and find a way to lift the curse that had plagued their families for generations. Amara told Ayo that only a true act of selfless sacrifice can break the curse, and that Ayo must prove his sincerity by helping the villagers and repairing the harm done by his family. Ayo returned to his village and started working to right the wrongs of his family. He invested heavily in the village, building schools, clinics, providing resources for the people. Despite his efforts, the accidents and misfortunes continued intensifying in severity. After Ayo funds the construction of a new school in the village, the building collapses during a storm, injuring several children and teachers inside. The villagers were devastated and blamed Ayo for bringing the curse upon them. Ayo was heartbroken. The village's livestock, crucial for their livelihood, were found infected by a strange disease overnight. The villagers saw this as a direct message from the spirits enforcing the curse. Ayo felt a weight of the villagers' despair and anger. He realized that the material aid wasn't enough and that he needed to truly understand the pain caused by his family and show genuine remorse. That night, the mansion was invaded by armed men who ransacked the place, stealing valuable and setting part of it on fire. Ayo fought them with the help of his loyal staff, but several were injured and the mansion was left in ruin. The attack was a turning point for Ayo. He realized that the curse influence extends to human greed and violence, so he resolved to sacrifice his inheritance. Ayo decided to turn the mansion to a community center for the villagers to also enjoy its benefits. Strangely, the curse was immediately lifted, and peace returned to the village. Ayo felt a profound sense of relief and fulfillment. He decided to stay in the village, living a humble life and continuing to help the community. The villagers, once hostile to Ayo, now accepted him as one of their own. Ayo's journey had transformed him from a man consumed by wealth to a true leader who understood the value of compassion, humility, and redemption. The legacy of his family was no longer one of a curse and sorrow, but one of healing and unity. Ayo lived peacefully with the villagers and was proud of the fight he fought for the people's freedom and liberation. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this story. Please, if you haven't subscribed, please do so. Like, comment, share, and I'll see you in my next video. Until then, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you soon. Shalom. Peace.